Hello, friends. This is Oles, and welcome back to the English Pro podcast, where you learn English simply by listening. No textbooks, no stress. Just relax, imagine, and let the story carry you. Today, I have a very different story for you. A story about a boy, a mysterious map, and a journey that starts on a rainy morning. It's a story about curiosity, courage, and a little adventure that can change everything. So, get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's begin. The story begins in the small town of Redbrook. The streets were wet from the night rain, and the clouds hung low, gray and heavy. People hurried through the streets with umbrellas, and the smell of wet earth mixed with baked bread from the local bakery. In one of the narrow streets, a boy named Leo was running late for school. He was 12, with messy hair, bright green eyes, and a backpack that seemed too big for his small shoulders. He loved exploring more than studying, and he had a wild imagination that often got him into trouble. That morning, something strange happened. While running past the old bookshop at the corner of Redbrook Lane, Leo noticed a small envelope stuck in the door handle. It was yellowed with age, tied with a thin red string, and had his name written in neat, small letters, Leo. Curious, he grabbed it and untied the string. Inside was a folded piece of paper, a map. The map was old, with faded lines and strange symbols. It showed the town, the river, and the forest beyond. But there was something else, a small X marked in the forest, and a note that said, "Follow this map. The treasure waits for the brave." Leo's heart beat faster. He looked around, but no one was watching. He whispered to himself, "Treasure? Really?" He knew the forest well. He had explored parts of it before, but never the area near the X. Something about the map made him feel that this adventure was important. He slipped the paper into his pocket and ran to school, already thinking about what he would do after classes. The day at school went slowly. Every time the teacher wrote on the board, Leo's eyes drifted toward the window. He imagined the forest, the hidden paths, and the treasure waiting for him. He could barely focus on math or history. Finally, the last bell rang. The students rushed out, and Leo was the first to leave. He ran home, grabbed his backpack with some snacks, a flashlight, and a small notebook, just in case he wanted to record his discoveries. The forest was quiet as he approached. The trees swayed gently, and the leaves whispered in the wind. It smelled like rain and earth, the smell of adventure. Leo unfolded the map again and studied it carefully. He recognized the first paths, the old stone bridge, the narrow creek, the big oak tree. He followed the lines slowly, making sure he didn't get lost. As he went deeper into the forest, the sunlight dimmed through the thick branches. Shadows moved like ghosts, and the birds seemed to be silent, watching. Leo's heart raced, part excitement, part fear. He wondered what the treasure could be. Gold? Jewels? Or maybe something even stranger. The path became narrower, and the X on the map was getting closer. Suddenly, he heard a sound, soft, almost like a whisper. He froze, looking around, but no one was there. He took a deep breath and continued. Soon, he found a small clearing. In the center, partially hidden under moss, was a small wooden chest. It was old, covered in vines, and locked with a rusty clasp. Leo's hands trembled. He reached into his pocket for the key, but the map didn't mention one. He tried the clasp carefully, pushing it gently. To his surprise, it clicked open. Inside the chest was something he didn't expect. Not gold, not jewels, but a small glowing orb, soft and warm. It floated just above the bottom of the chest, lighting the surrounding grass with a faint blue glow. Leo leaned closer, eyes wide. The orb pulsed gently, like it had a heartbeat. He felt a warmth in his chest, something magical, something alive. Suddenly, the wind picked up, moving the branches above him. Leaves fell around the chest. Leo wondered what to do. Should he touch it? Should he take it home? He remembered the note on the map. The treasure waits for the brave. He took a deep breath, reached out slowly, and touched the orb. The moment his fingers brushed it, a soft light spread across the clearing. It wasn't bright enough to hurt his eyes, but it illuminated the forest in a new way. Shadows moved, and Leo felt as if the trees themselves were alive, watching him, acknowledging his courage. He smiled, realizing that this treasure was not gold or money. It was something more, something magical, mysterious, and full of life. And just like that, Leo's adventure had only begun. Leo stared at the glowing orb in his hands. It pulsed softly, like it was alive, and he felt a strange calm wash over him. For a moment, the forest seemed quiet, peaceful, not scary at all. He realized that this treasure was not about gold or jewels. It was about discovery, courage, and seeing the world in a new way. Slowly, he walked back along the forest path, keeping the orb close to his chest. The light guided him, illuminating roots and stones so he wouldn't trip. The shadows didn't seem threatening anymore. They moved gently, almost like the forest was saying hello. When he reached the edge of the trees, the town of Redbrook appeared in the distance. The streets were quiet, and the sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. Leo felt proud of himself. He had gone on an adventure, faced the unknown, and found something incredible. He returned home carefully, slipping the orb into his room. He placed it on his desk and stared at it. It seemed small and simple, but he knew it was powerful. It was proof that he was brave. The next morning, Leo woke early. He wanted to show the orb to someone, but he remembered Mr. Fenwick's advice, or, in this story, the voice from the map. The treasure waits for the brave. He realized the treasure was also about patience. Some things are meant to be discovered slowly. Some things are meant to be kept safe. At school, he carried the memory of the adventure with him. The hallways, the classrooms, and even the cafeteria seemed a little brighter. He smiled at his friends, noticing details he hadn't before. The way the sunlight shone through windows, the sound of laughter echoing down the halls, the smell of fresh paint in the gym. The world felt alive, magical even. After school, he returned to the forest. The clearing was quiet, and the chest was gone. The orb still glowed softly in his hands, but he sensed that it had chosen him for a reason. He sat on a fallen log and held it carefully, thinking about all the possibilities. "Maybe I can share this one day," he whispered. "But first, I need to understand it myself." Hours passed, and the stars appeared in the sky. The orb reflected them, making the clearing shine like a little galaxy. Leo felt calm, happy, and ready for whatever adventure would come next. He realized something important. The treasure was not the orb. It was the journey, the courage to explore, and the curiosity that had led him there. Weeks later, Leo returned to the forest often. Sometimes he saw animals he hadn't noticed before. Sometimes he discovered new paths, new flowers, and new secrets hidden among the trees. The orb always glowed softly, reminding him of the day he found it and the adventure that had begun. He also learned patience. He learned to wait, to observe, and to respect the world around him. And slowly, He began to understand the magic that existed in small, everyday things. One evening, as he sat in the clearing, holding the orb, he noticed something amazing. The light from the orb connected with the stars above. Tiny beams of blue light stretched up into the sky, as if the orb was speaking to the universe. Leo smiled and whispered, "Thank you. I will take care of this." He knew that he was no longer just a boy in Redbrook. He was a guardian of a secret world, a discoverer of magic, and someone brave enough to follow the map and the adventure wherever it led. From that day on, Leo continued exploring, learning, and discovering. He never stopped being curious, and whenever he looked at the glowing orb, he remembered one truth. True treasure is not always what you find. It is what you become when you are brave enough to seek it. And with that, Leo walked home, ready for another day, ready for another adventure, and ready to see magic in the world, everywhere, all the time.